Hi, hope you're doing good. In the last video, I announced that we are making a video game, and I'm still super excited about it. The journey so far has been very interesting and very enjoyable. We haven't had many upsetting roadblocks just yet. We'll see if that will appear in the future. But we're making a nostalgic point-and-click game. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about how we're making it and with what tools and softwares. We've gone a bit back and forth with the kind of game that we want to make, and as I explained in the previous video, we have our mindset on a horror game from the get-go. However, that changed. So now we're not gonna make a horror game. We're instead making a kind of funny point-and-click game with an emotional touch. It's gonna be a challenge to make that work properly, story-wise and gameplay-wise. So that's gonna be the hard part. It's gonna be like a very humorous from the start and then turn into something else. So we'll see how that turns out. My history with programming is very limited. I started with C# via the Unity Junior Programmer course, and I completed that during a couple of months, and it taught me a lot about C# and video game programming. Not everything, but it taught me a lot. And from that, I borrowed a book from my brother about C#. The C# course 1, I think is called in Swedish. But I completed that book with some practices, exercises, and everything. I even asked a couple of friends some more in-depth questions. How do you do that, and why do you do that? Why do you need this part, and why, etc. So a lot of code things. And from that, I started a new job where I taught myself, or got taught JavaScript and web programming with React. And I kind of left C#. And when we had this discussion about the game, gonna make a game, in my mind, I had Unity in my head, because I've been doing some Unity programming, and it's a kind of neat engine. So I thought, yeah, let's go with Unity. However, things changed, and Unity did some weird things with the pricing model that got really complicated, and I just thought to myself, I don't want to bother. I'm out of here. And then the options were basically two options then. We have Godot, that is an open source engine, and then we have the Unreal Engine 5. And to be honest, I have been playing around with Unreal Engine a couple of years ago, just some landscaping, because I thought it was really cool and interesting. And it's very convenient with the blueprints and the visual scripting. I like Unreal Engine, let's just say that. I never use Godot. I will love to explore what Godot have to offer and what we can do with Godot. However, this game will be made with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5.3.2 is the version that we'll making this game in. And yes, you can say that this is a very powerful engine, too powerful for this kind of game, and I kind of agree. But everything is so convenient for me with the visual scripting, blueprinting, and it's not a very physics-heavy game. So we don't need heavy calculations that will be more efficient with C++ scripting. So visual scripting is by far okay in this case, I think. We'll see in the end if I'm right or wrong, but that's my initial feeling, sorry. So yeah, the game will be made in Unreal Engine 5. We're making a nostalgic point-and-click game with this massive engine, Unreal Engine 5. So it's gonna be cool. To that, we are exploring a bit, or I am exploring a bit in the sound and audio. Have an audio background. I am a music teacher in the background, done some sound engineering, voice acting, composing. Oops. So I am exploring a little bit with the audio, how we can do that in a very interesting and suitable way. There is a software, third-party software that we will try to use, and that is called Wise. I've been playing around with it a little bit before, but not much. And I see the great potential, even with this type of game. You know, in old Monkey Island game, they have this other engine called iMuse, and that is a cool, interesting software technology, which kind of is like Wise, where you can put in like different audio tracks. We can turn the volumes up and down, depends on what happens in the game. You can also have like different instruments in the track. So it depends on what happens in the game. You can lower the certain instrument or increase the volume, and do that in a little interesting way. You can, in that way, you can sort of create the music live as you're playing the game. And that also adds something very interesting and unique about the game. Every time you play it, it might sound a little bit different, which is kind of interesting to me. Yeah, we think of using the Wise system for the audio there, and behind the scenes, so to say, with the script writing and the puzzle dependency charts and everything, we use everything is done in Google. It's easy and cheap, free. So we have the Google Documents, Google Sheets, and Draw.io for the puzzle dependency chart, and also the to connect everything, to have like a visual overview of how everything is connected together. So first you go here in this area, and then you go there, but then you may miss an item, so you have to go to this third area, and to have visualize how everything is connected. I think it's very crucial for me, at least, when I'm making the game. And I guess that's it for the tools. I might show you around in the engine a little bit, in the blueprints, to show you how I have set up things, and how we think of how to progress. We did have, just to give you an update on the art, the pixel artist. We did have a chat with a friend of mine who's currently working on in a school where they teach this kind of things, art, digital art, and game development. He is in a very limited time, so he might not be able to put the time that is needed. We might have. I'm gonna have a meeting on Thursday with another friend of mine. However, the first friend working on the school, we have some interesting sources there. Maybe a student can be part of the project. The quality assurance, like game testing, could be done with a lot of students from their school. So we have a lot of still a lot of collaboration with this first friend. I'm referring him to first friend and then the second friend, just to keep the thing simple right now. So now we have Johan and the first friend and the second friend. I love the friends, you know. I love Johans and I love friends. Hope you do as well. So yeah, I will keep you. Do a little introduction in the engine later. So see you there, and if not, keep dreaming and keep playing. Bye. Here I'm inside the project, and you can see in this case we have this persistent level, and all the levels underneath is like going to be activated or deactivated. Depends on, yeah, if you go to that level, it will just show up, and if not, it will just don't show. And this persistent level, we have some default things that will yeah, be persistent. We have pause process volume, if any effects or anything. We have a raycast, and we have a split screen manager, which will handle the split screen basically. And interesting to show you is, I mean, I can talk forever about this stuff, but like in hotspot, we have different hotspots. So as soon as you click or hover over something, I can choose what kind of things that will be, like a lamppost or a rock or anything. And I have the default thing here. So if you use the pull, oh, we're not going to have the pull. If you use the use verb on the hotspot, the default will be you're going to face the hotspot. And when you do create the hotspot, you choose a direction. If it's going to face up, down, left, or right. So we're going to face that direction, face the hotspot, and the player's going to bark. It's going to say how I'm going to use that. I'm gonna add an audio for that bark as well as soon as we have.
And then afterwards, we're gonna clear the verb. So when you click on use, it will display use rock, for example, um, when I hover over the rock. So when I press use on the rock, I'm gonna face it, we're gonna say that, and we're gonna deselect use. So I'm gonna display something else. I think the default is walk to, and that is clear verb. So that we're gonna do with all of them. And if you're gonna create a rock, for example, or in this case a bathtub, I can just override the functions here or the events. So we override the use. So we're not going to use the default one. We're going to use this one. So in this case, we're going to face the hotspot, obviously, and they're going to bark. That's new use. And then clear the verb. And yeah, and that's pretty much how we do with the with the parks. It's very easy to do. And we set up or I set up all those three are custom functions. So the clear verb is just going to interrupt the action and go into the player controller. We're going to stop the movement and do all these kinds of nasty things. Same with the bark. We dive deep into this. And we add single line to the array and yeah, display it. One other cool thing that I think might need a more longer description. This is just an overview of how things all are. Here is the dialogue, not tree, but dialogue settings or yeah, for each dialogue, we can set the prompt number, the prompt sub number, if it's going to be visible or not, if it has been selected or not, if this option will be a single use, and what the player is going to say and what the NPC going to respond, if we're going to switch topic to something else, or switch data table, basically. If this option will end the conversation, if this will trigger an event, and what the audio for the player prompt will be, and the audio for the NPC response is going to be. So if I create one here, this is in one example. I create one for the chicken in the kitchen. So I created the data table here for the chicken or the imaginary chicken using the prompt data struct table. So in all options here, so when you interact with the chicken, you're gonna display. You're not gonna display the verbs down below. It's gonna display the dialogue options. So when you press on him, you have the options to either select what are you doing here. You can select whose kitchen is this. You can select what are you cooking, and I can select well. I guess I'll leave you to it. And yeah, the last one here is ends the conversation. So that one is set to true, and that will trigger so that the this conversation ends and the verbs gonna be displayed in the bottom screen again. And here basically is the prompt number where it's gonna be displayed in the order where you select them. So this one going to be the first and the second, third, and fourth. And if it's going to be visible initially or if it's going to be visible after. For example, I could press what are you doing here, and then that will trigger that this second will be true instead of false. Now all of them are true, so they're going to all be visible straight away. Or they have the option here to make a dialogue tree in a kind of nice fashion. And has been selected will automatically become true once you press it. It's in the script. And single use, that means that if this single use, this option will be deleted or disappear after you press this question here. And obviously this is the what the player's gonna say. What are you doing here? And then the NPC responds, mind your own business. Maybe the chicken will respond. And this won't change any topic. It will stay on this data table. One topic is one data table, so you can switch between different data tables. to organize it better. And if this can end the conversation, nope. Is an event trigger on this dialogue? Nope. And yet we don't have any audio for the player or NPC in this case. But as you see here below, you can on the first prompt here, you can. It's really easy to just. It's a single use. Add the how many prompts the player gonna say. Because if you have a long sentence, you maybe want to break it up into two elements. What are you doing here? I thought you were a chicken. Then it's gonna be two after each other. I will delete this one here. Yeah, this is really easy to work with, and I am kind of happy about this. So that was a quick sneak peek of what I am doing in the Unreal Engine at the moment. I will give you more updates in the future. Thank you for watching.